The distress beacon blinked weakly on Taesung's scanner. He had been drifting through the outer rim debris field for 3 days now, looking for salvage worth his time. Most of what he found was junk. Broken hull plates, burnt-out engines, sometimes a piece of tech he could sell for a few credits. But this beacon was different. It was old, maybe 200 years old, and it was calling from deep inside the wreckage of what looked like a diplomatic vessel. Taesung guided his small salvage ship closer. The debris field was dangerous. Chunks of metal floated everywhere, spinning slowly in the darkness of space. One wrong move and his ship would be torn apart. But he was good at this. He had been doing salvage work for 10 years, ever since he left Earth to find his fortune among the stars. The diplomatic vessel was huge, even in its broken state. It must have been beautiful once. Now it was just a twisted corpse of metal and glass, floating silent and dead. Taesung docked his ship carefully against one of the broken airlocks. He put on his suit, checked his oxygen levels, and stepped into the wreck. Inside, everything was frozen and dark. His headlamp cut through the shadows as he moved through the corridors. The walls were covered in strange symbols he did not recognize. The architecture was different from any ship he had seen before. Tall ceilings, wide doorways, everything built for beings much larger than humans. The beacon led him deeper into the ship. He passed through what looked like meeting rooms and living quarters. Everything was covered in frost. His breath came out in white clouds inside his helmet. Then he found the door. It was massive, made of some kind of dark metal that had not corroded even after all these years. The beacon signal was coming from behind it. Taesung worked on the door mechanism for almost an hour. His fingers were getting numb from the cold, even inside his gloves. Finally, something clicked. The door groaned and slid open just enough for him to squeeze through. The room beyond took his breath away. It was a vault of some kind. In the center stood 2 cryosleep pods, still glowing with faint blue light. They were working. After 200 years in a dead ship, somehow these pods were still working. Taesung moved closer. Through the frosted glass of the first pod, he could see a small figure, a child. He wiped the frost away and his heart nearly stopped. The child had scales, silver scales that caught the light from his headlamp. Her face was peaceful, almost human, but not quite. Small horns curved back from her forehead. She looked about 8 years old. The second pod held another child. This one looked younger, maybe 6. His scales were bronze, darker than the girl's. He had the same small horns, the same peaceful expression. Taesung found a control panel between the pods. Most of the text was in that same strange language, but there were universal symbols too. Power levels, life support, revival protocols. His hands shook as he worked through the interface. The pods were failing. They had maybe a day of power left, maybe less. If he did nothing, these children would die. He should report this. Call the Galactic Council. Let them handle it. But something made him hesitate. He activated the ship's data core and started downloading the logs. What he read made his blood run cold. The ship was Draconis. The children were heirs to the Draconis Empire, a species that had been declared extinct 200 years ago. According to the logs, there had been no extinction. There had been a purge. The Galactic Council had ordered it. Every Draconis world had been attacked. Every ship had been hunted down. These children were the last survivors of a royal family that had tried to flee. The log spoke of betrayal, of lies told to the council about the Draconis being a threat, of technology stolen, of an entire species murdered for their knowledge and power. The ship had been running, trying to reach a safe world, when it was attacked and left for dead in this debris field. Taesung looked at the sleeping children. They were innocent. They had done nothing wrong. They had been put in these pods to save them, and for 200 years they had waited while their entire species died. He made his decision. He would not report this. Not yet. Not until he understood what had really happened. Not until he could be sure these children would be safe. Getting the pods back to his ship was hard work. Each one was heavy and awkward. He had to use his ship's cargo arm to move them carefully through the debris. It took hours. By the time both pods were secured in his cargo bay, he was exhausted and his oxygen was running low. He set course for Station Meridian, the closest place he knew where he could work without too many questions. It was a small station on the edge of human territory. Not too lawful, not too lawless. Perfect for someone who wanted to stay quiet. The journey took 2 days. Tai-sung spent most of that time reading everything he could find about the Draconis. They had been an ancient species, powerful and wise. They could manipulate energy in ways that seemed like magic. They lived for thousands of years. They had been artists and engineers, builders and dreamers. And someone had destroyed them all. At Station Meridian, Tai-sung rented a private workshop in the lower levels. The kind of place where dock workers did not ask questions as long as you paid on time. He moved the pods inside and locked the door. Then he started the revival process. It was delicate work. The pods were old and the systems were foreign to him. He had to figure out each step carefully. Too fast and he could damage them. Too slow and they might not survive. He worked for 12 hours straight, checking and rechecking everything. Finally, the first pod opened with a hiss of cold air. The silver scale girl's eyes opened slowly. They were golden, bright, and aware. She looked at him without fear, just curiosity. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Her throat was too dry. Tai-sung gave her water, just a little at first. She drank carefully, watching him the whole time. Then she spoke in a voice barely above a whisper. "My name is Hannah," she said in perfect Galactic common. "Where's my brother?" "He is here," Tai-sung said gently. "He is safe. You are both safe now." "Where's my mother?" Hannah asked. Her golden eyes were filling with tears. Tai-sung did not know how to answer that. He did not know how to tell this child that everyone she had ever known was gone. So he just took her hand and held it while the second pod began to open. The bronze-scale boy woke up slower. He was confused and scared until he saw his sister. Then he reached for her and she held him tight. They spoke to each other in a language Tai-sung did not understand, soft words that sounded like music. "My name is June," the boy said finally, looking at Tai-sung. "You saved us." "Yes," Tai-sung said. "Why?" Hannah asked. It was a simple question, but it carried so much weight. Tai-sung thought about all the reasons he should not have done this, about the danger he was now in, about the laws he had broken, about the powerful people who would want these children dead. But when he looked at their faces, at their hope and fear and confusion, he knew his answer was just as simple. Because it was the right thing to do, he said. 6 months had passed since Tai-sung brought the children to Station Meridian. In that time, everything in his life had changed. His small workshop had become a home. His quiet existence had become full of laughter and questions and the constant noise of 2 curious children learning about the galaxy. Hannah and June could not go outside looking like themselves. Their scales and horns would give them away immediately. So Tai-sung had found a genetic masking device on the black market. It was expensive, nearly all his savings, but it worked. The device projected a field around each child that made them look human. Silver scales became pale skin. Bronze scales became tan. The horns disappeared under the illusion. Only their golden eyes remained the same, but colored contact lenses fixed that problem. To everyone on the station, there were just 2 human orphans that Tai-sung had adopted, kids whose parents died in a mining accident. Nobody asked too many questions. The lower levels of Station Meridian were full of people with sad stories and secrets. What surprised Tai-sung most was how smart the children were. Hannah could look at a broken engine and understand exactly what was wrong with it. She did not just see the parts. She saw the energy flowing through them, or not flowing, and she knew how to fix it. When Tai-sung tried to explain quantum mechanics to her, she understood it in minutes. Then she started asking questions that he could not answer. June was different but equally gifted. He understood space and distance in ways that seemed impossible. He could look at a pile of machine parts and know exactly how they fit together, even if he had never seen that machine before. Once, Tai-sung gave him a puzzle box that had taken Tai-sung 3 days to solve. June opened it in 20 minutes. The children were hungry to learn. They absorbed everything. Languages, mathematics, engineering, history. Tai-sung brought them books and data files. He taught them everything he knew about ships and salvage and how to survive in the galaxy. But soon they were teaching him things too. One day, Hannah built a power coupling in the workshop. She was just playing around with spare parts, fitting them together while June watched. When she activated it, the device glowed with a soft blue light, and every tool in the workshop started working better. The drill spun faster. The welders burned hotter. The computers ran smoother. What did you do? Tai-sung asked, staring at the device. I made the energy flow better, Hannah said, as if it was the simplest thing in the world. Energy wants to move. You just have to show it the right path. Tai-sung tested the device carefully. It was incredible. The power coupling improved efficiency by 30%. He had never seen anything like it. Neither had anyone else in the galaxy. Probably. This was Draconis technology, the kind that people said was lost forever. You cannot show this to anyone, Tai-sung told her seriously. If people see what you can do, they will ask questions we cannot answer. Hannah nodded, but he could see the disappointment in her eyes. She wanted to create. She wanted to build. Hiding her gift was hard for her. June had his own moment of accidental genius. He was playing with some scrap metal and gravity plates one afternoon, trying to build a toy ship. Something went wrong, or maybe it went right. The toy lifted off his workbench and floated there, perfectly still, with no power source. June had somehow created a gravitonification field using just basic parts and his intuitive understanding of space. How? Was all Tai-sung could say. Gravity is just geometry, June said, tilting his head. If you bend space the right way, things do not fall. See? Tai-sung did not see. He did not understand it all. But the toy kept floating, and that was impossible, which meant it was real. He knew then that he could not keep the children hidden forever. Their talents were too great. They needed to use them, to grow them, to share them with the galaxy. But how could he do that safely? His friend Minji helped him find an answer. She was the administrator for the lower levels of the station, and she had known Tai-sung for years. She had noticed the children, of course. She noticed everything. One evening, she came to his workshop and knocked on the door. We need to talk, she said. Tai-sung's heart sank. He let her in. The children were in the back room, doing their lessons. Minji looked around the workshop, at all the strange devices, at the tools scattered everywhere. Then she looked at him. Those are not human children, she said quietly. There was no point lying. Minji was too smart. No, Tai-sung admitted. They are not. They are Draconis, Minji said. I thought that species was extinct. So did everyone else, Tai-sung said. He told her everything. About finding them in the debris field. About the logs he had read. About the purge and the lies. When he finished, Minji was quiet for a long time. You should have reported this, she finally said. I know. But you did not because you thought they would be killed. Yes. Minji sighed and rubbed her face. You are probably right. The council does not like being wrong. If word got out that the Draconis purge was based on lies, it would be a massive scandal. Easier to make sure no witnesses survive. So what do I do? Tai-sung asked. You keep them safe, Minji said, and I will help you. Tai-sung felt relief wash over him. He was not alone anymore. Thank you. Do not thank me yet, Minji said. This is going to be complicated. She was right. Over the next few weeks, Tai-sung realized that the children's inventions were getting noticed. He had been selling some of Hannah's power couplings through intermediaries, using fake names and hidden channels. But people in the underground maker communities were starting to talk. Who was this unknown inventor? Where were these designs coming from? At the same time, Dae-hyun arrived at the station. He was a young engineering student, 19 years old, brilliant with robotics. He had heard that Tai-sung sometimes took apprentices. He wanted to learn salvage work and ship repair. Tai-sung said no at first. Too risky. But Dae-hyun kept coming back, polite and persistent. Finally, Tai-sung agreed to let him work in the outer workshop area, away from the children. Dae-hyun was a good kid, smart and careful. He never asked about the strange sounds he sometimes heard from the back rooms. Then the Galactic Council inspection was announced. Commander Veldar, a reptilian inspector known for being thorough and suspicious, would be visiting Station Meridian. He was looking for illegal technology. Specifically, he was looking for energy devices that matched certain unknown signatures that had appeared in the underground markets. Hannah's power couplings. They were looking for Hannah's power couplings. We need to hide everything, Tai-sung told Minji urgently. all the devices, all the prototypes. It is too late for that, Minji said. The inspection is in 2 days. Veldar will scan every workshop on the station. If you suddenly have no tech at all, that will look suspicious too. Then what do we do? Minji thought for a moment. We hide them in plain sight. The children can demonstrate their inventions. As long as they look human, Veldar will just think they are gifted kids. He is looking for alien tech, not human genius. It was risky. So risky. But they had no choice. When Commander Veldar arrived, he went through the station like a storm. His team scanned everything. They questioned everyone. When they reached Tai-sung's workshop, the commander's reptilian eyes studied every corner. Interesting energy readings here. Veldar hissed. His tongue flicked out, tasting the air. What are you working on? Just some efficiency improvements, Tai-sung said, keeping his voice steady. My kids like to tinker. Your kids? Veldar looked at Hannah and June, who stood quietly by their workbench. They looked perfectly human with their masks on. Just 2 normal children. Show him, Tai-sung said. Hannah picked up one of her power couplings and explained how it worked. She used simple terms, talked about energy flow and resistance. She made it sound like basic engineering, nothing special. Veldar listened, his eyes narrow. Clever, he admitted, for a human child. But these energy signatures match something we have been tracking, something that should not exist. It is just good design, Hannah said innocently. My father taught me well. Veldar stared at her for a long moment, then at June, then at Tai-sung. He knew something was wrong. Tai-sung could see it in his eyes, but he had no proof, just suspicions. I will be watching this station, Veldar said finally. If I find anything illegal, anything at all, I will be back. After he left, Tai-sung sat down heavily. That had been too close. Far too close. 3 days later, a message arrived. It was an invitation to the Galactic Youth Innovation Summit on planet Concordia, the biggest gathering of young inventors and engineers in the galaxy. And attached to the invitation was a note saying that Station Meridian's workshop had been recommended by several sources as having exceptional young talent. Tai-sung stared at the invitation. This was either their greatest opportunity or their biggest danger. Maybe both. Can we go? Hannah asked, reading over his shoulder. Her eyes were bright with hope. Tai-sung looked at her, then at June. They deserved to show the galaxy what they could do. They deserved to be more than just hidden secrets. Yes, he said. We can go. Planet Concordia was beautiful. Tai-sung had never seen anything like it. 3 moons hung in a purple sky. Crystal towers reached up from cities that glowed with soft light. Gardens filled with plants from 100 worlds created a rainbow of colors everywhere he looked. This was where the Galactic Council held its most important events. This was where the future of the galaxy was supposed to be decided. The Youth Innovation Summit was held in the Grand Hall, a massive building made entirely of transparent material that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. Thousands of young beings from across the galaxy had come to show their inventions and ideas. There were tall insectoids with clicking mandibles, small furry creatures that communicated through scent, crystalline beings that sang their words, and humans, dozens of human children and teenagers, all excited to represent Earth. Hannah and June walked close to Tai-sung. Their genetic masks were working perfectly, making them look like human children. But Tai-sung could see the tension in their shoulders. They were nervous. So was he. One mistake here and everything would fall apart. Remember, he whispered to them, you are human. You learned everything from me. Nothing you do is impossible for a smart human child. Understand? They both nodded. Hannah squeezed June's hand. The registration area was chaos. Hundreds of young inventors were checking in, setting up their displays, arguing with judges about rules and categories. Tai-sung guided the children through the crowd to their assigned space. They would be in the energy systems category, competing against 40 other teams. Their display was simple. Hannah's shield generator. It was a newest invention, better than the power couplings. It could create a perfect energy sphere around any object, protecting it from damage. She had built it using mostly standard parts, but her understanding of energy flow made it work in ways that should have been impossible. At the booth next to them, a human teenager was setting up a complex navigation system. He had dark hair and bright eyes that never stopped moving, taking everything in. He noticed Tai-sung and the children watching him. "First time at the summit?" he asked with a friendly smile. "Yes," Hannah said. "Is it always as crowded?" "This is nothing," the boy laughed. "Wait until the demonstration starts. I am Hyunwoo, by the way, from Earth Soul District. I am Hannah. This is my brother June and our father Tai-sung." Hyunwoo looked at their display with interest. "A shield generator? That is ambitious. Most people stick with simple stuff for their first summit." "Hannah likes challenges," Tai-sung said carefully. "I can respect that," Hyunwoo said. "Want to see what I built? It is an AI navigation system that can calculate jump routes through unstable space. Normally that takes huge computers, but I figured out how to compress the algorithms." He spent the next hour showing them his invention. Hannah asked him questions, smart questions that made Hyunwoo's eyes light up. Soon they were trading ideas, talking so fast that Tai-sung could barely follow. June watched quietly, but Tai-sung could see his mind working, understanding everything. "You two are really good," Hyunwoo said finally. "Where did you learn all this?" "Our father taught us," Hannah said, "and we read a lot." "You must read a lot," Hyunwoo laughed. "Hey, want to collaborate? My navigation system could use better power management. Your shield generator could probably use better positioning algorithms. We could help each other." Tai-sung started to say no, but Hannah spoke first. "Yes, that would be good." So they worked together. 3 human children, or so everyone thought, combining their genius to make something better than any of them could make alone. Tai-sung watched them and felt a strange mix of pride and fear. This was what Hannah and June needed. Friends, collaboration, a chance to be themselves. But every moment here was dangerous. The evaluation committee arrived on the second day. They walked through the displays, asking questions, taking notes. One of them was Dr. Yuna, a human xenobiologist known for her work studying different species. She stopped at their booth and studied the shield generator with intense interest. "Demonstrate it," she said. Hannah activated the device. A perfect sphere of shimmering energy appeared around the test object. Dr. Yuna threw various things at it. Rocks, metal pieces, even a small explosive charge. Nothing got through. The sphere held perfectly, not even flickering. "Remarkable," Dr. Yuna said. She pulled out a scanner and ran it over the device. Then over Hannah. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "How old are you, dear?" 8, Hannah said. "And you built this yourself?" "My father helped with some of the parts, but the design is mine." Dr. Yuna looked at Tai-sung. "You must be very proud." "I am," he said, and it was true. After the committee left, Tai-sung noticed Dr. Yuna looking back at them several times. His stomach twisted with worry. Had her scanner picked up something? The genetic mask was supposed to fool all standard equipment. But Dr. Yuna was an expert. Maybe her scanners were better. The competition demonstrations happened on the 3rd day. The grand hall was packed with spectators. Diplomats, scientists, journalists, people from every corner of the galaxy, all here to see what the young minds had created. When it was their turn, Hannah, June, and Hyunwoo took the stage together. They had combined their inventions into a single system. The shield generator protected a ship model. The navigation AI calculated routes. The power management system kept everything running smoothly. It was beautiful to watch. But during the demonstration, something went wrong. The power system overloaded. Maybe it was sabotage. Maybe it was just bad luck. The lights in the entire hall flickered and died. Emergency systems tried to activate, but failed. In the darkness, people started to panic. Hannah reacted without thinking. Tai-sung saw her close her eyes. He saw the air around her shimmer. Then light bloomed from her hands, pure and bright. It was not electricity. It was not any technology. It was dragon energy, raw and powerful, the kind of power her species had been born with. The light spread through the hole like water, finding every broken system, every failed connection. Power flowed back into the building. The lights came on. The emergency system stabilized. Everything worked perfectly again. For a moment, there was silence. Then applause erupted. People thought it was part of the demonstration. They thought it was a shield generator somehow saving the day. Only a few people knew better. Tai-sung saw Dr. Yuna staring at Hannah with wide eyes. Her scanner was going crazy in her hand. She knew. Somehow, she knew. He also saw another figure in the crowd. An insectoid diplomat with ancient eyes. The being was staring at Hannah and June with an expression that looked like recognition, like he had seen their kind before. The demonstration finished to huge applause. Hannah, June, and Hyunwoo won first place in their category. They were invited to the final showcase, where they would present to the entire Galactic Council. It was the greatest honor at the summit, but Tai-sung could not celebrate. Too many people were looking at them now. Too many scanners. Too many questions. That night, there was a knock on their hotel room door. Tai-sung opened it carefully. The insectoid diplomat stood there, alone. His name was Ambassador Crayss, according to the identification he showed. "May I come in?" Crayss asked. His voice was soft, buzzing slightly. Tai-sung wanted to say no, but something in the ambassador's eyes made him step aside. Crayss entered and looked at the children. Hannah and June stood together, holding hands. Their genetic mask was still active, but Crayss looked right through them. "I knew your grandmother," Crayss said quietly, "the Empress of Draconis. She saved my world once, long ago, when we were under attack. I was just a young diplomat then. She was magnificent." Hannah's eyes filled with tears. "You knew her?" "Yes, child, and I know what you are. I watched your demonstration today. I saw the energy signature when you saved the whole. There is no mistaking it. You are Draconis." Tai-sung moved to stand between them, but Crayss raised his hands peacefully. "I am not your enemy," he said. "I have kept secrets about your people for 200 years. After the purge, some Draconis escaped. I helped them hide. I thought I had saved everyone who could be saved. I did not know there were heirs still sleeping in the darkness." "Why are you telling us this?" Tai-sung asked. "Because tomorrow you will present to the council, and there are people on that council who will recognize what the girl did today. People who were involved in the purge. People who will want to finish what they started." Crayss looked at all of them seriously. "You are in grave danger. All of you." "Then we will run," Tai-sung said. "No," Hannah said. Her voice was small but firm. "I am tired of running. I am tired of hiding. My grandmother saved his world. My people helped the galaxy for thousands of years. We did nothing wrong. Why should we hide?" "Because they will kill you," Crayss said gently. "Then let them try," Hannah said. She looked at Tai-sung. "You told me to be human, to hide what I am. But humans do not hide from bullies. You taught me that. Humans stand up. Humans fight for what is right." Tai-sung looked at this brave little girl who had lost everything but had not lost her courage. She was right. He had taught her that. He had taught her to be human in the best way possible. "Tomorrow," he said slowly, "we tell the truth." Crayss clicked his mandibles nervously. "That is very brave. Also very dangerous. But I will stand with you. And I know others who will too." That night, Tai-sung did not sleep. He watched over the children and prepared for what tomorrow would bring. One way or another, the galaxy was about to learn that the Draconis were not extinct, and nothing would ever be the same again. The morning came too quickly. Tai-sung stood with the children in their hotel room, watching the sunrise over Concordia. In a few hours, they would stand before the entire Galactic Council, and they would tell the truth. Ambassador Crayss had been busy through the night. He had contacted old friends, people he trusted. One of them was Director Sion Mi, an elderly human woman who ran the Galactic Historical Archives. She arrived at their hotel before dawn, carrying a heavy data case. "Ambassador Crayss told me everything," she said, looking at Hannah and June with wonder in her eyes. "I never thought I would see a Draconis in my lifetime. The Council ordered all records destroyed 200 years ago, but I kept copies. Hidden. Safe. I always knew something was wrong with the official story." She opened her data case and pulled out files. Old files. Secret files. This is everything. The real history of what happened to the Draconis Empire. The lies that were told. The people who gave the orders. She looked at Tai-sung. If you are going to do this, you need proof. Without proof, they will just call you liars and make you disappear. Tai-sung took the files and started reading. What he found made him sick with anger. The Draconis had done nothing wrong. They had been peaceful, sharing their technology and knowledge with younger species. But their technology was valuable. Their energy manipulation abilities were beyond anything the galaxy had. And one man wanted it all for himself. Lord Vex, a draconian noble from a warrior species. He had been a council member 200 years ago. He had convinced other council members that the Draconis were dangerous, that their power was too great, that they were planning to conquer the galaxy. All lies, but the lies worked. The council authorized a military action. What was supposed to be containment became genocide. Lord Vex is still alive, Director Sionamai said quietly. He is over 300 years old, but his species lives long. He is still on the council, still powerful, and if he learns that Draconis heirs survived, he will do everything to eliminate them. Then we need to move fast, said a new voice. A young man stepped into the room. He had a camera and recording equipment. I am Jinho, investigative journalist. Ambassador Creuss called me. I want to help. Why? Tai-sung asked suspiciously. Because I am tired of the council's lies, Jinho said. I have been investigating corruption for years, but I never had proof like this. If you let me document everything, if you let me publish this story, the council cannot make you disappear quietly. The whole galaxy will be watching. It was risky, but they were already past safe choices. Tai-sung nodded. Do it. The final showcase was scheduled for noon. The grand hall was filled with council members, diplomats, and journalists from across the galaxy. Hannah, June, and Hyunwoo were supposed to demonstrate their combined invention one more time. But that was not what was going to happen. Backstage, Hyunwoo noticed something was different. You are nervous, he said to Hannah. More than yesterday. What is wrong? Hannah looked at this human boy who had become her friend. She did not want to lie to him anymore. Hyunwoo, I need to tell you something. I am not human. Neither is my brother. Hyunwoo stared at her. Then he laughed. Good joke. You are not human? Then what are you, an alien? Yes, Hannah said. She reached up and removed a genetic mask. Her silver scales appeared. Her small horns became visible. Her golden eyes glowed softly. Hyunwoo stopped laughing. His mouth fell open. You are Draconis. But that is impossible. They are extinct. No, Hannah said. We are not. For a long moment, Hyunwoo just stared. Then, slowly, he smiled. That is the coolest thing I have ever seen. Does this mean all your inventions are alien technology? No, Hannah said. The designs are mine. The understanding comes from what I am, but the work is real. Good enough for me, Hyunwoo said. So what are we doing today? Because I am guessing it is not just a normal demonstration. We are telling the truth, June said quietly. Then I am with you, Hyunwoo said without hesitation. Whatever happens. When they walked onto the stage, Tai-sung was already there. So was Ambassador Creuss, and Director Sionamai, and Jinho with his cameras. The audience murmured in confusion. This was not how showcases usually went. Members of the Galactic Council, Tai-sung began. His voice was steady, even though his heart was racing. We are not here to demonstrate an invention. We are here to reveal a truth that has been hidden for 200 years. He gestured to Hannah and June. They stepped forward and removed their genetic masks. The audience gasped. Some people stood up. Others reached for communication devices. These children are Draconis, Tai-sung said. Their species was not destroyed by war or disease. They were murdered. Genocide by order of this council, based on lies. Lord Vex stood up in the council section. He was massive, covered in dark scales and battle scars. His voice boomed across the hall. This is an outrage. Those creatures are illegal. Arrest them immediately. On what charge? Ambassador Creuss has stepped forward. Being born, surviving. They are dangerous. Lord Vex shouted. The Draconis were a threat to galactic peace. Show me your proof, Director CNMI said calmly. She activated a holographic display. Images filled the air above the stage. Old documents, council records, communications. I have spent decades studying what really happened. The Draconists were peaceful. They never threatened anyone. You wanted their technology, Lord Vex. You wanted their power. So you lied. You convinced the council they were dangerous. And then you oversaw their extermination. The whole erupted in chaos. Council members were shouting. Diplomats were arguing. Journalists were recording everything. Jinho's cameras captured it all, broadcasting live across the galaxy. These are fake. Lord Vex roared. Forgeries. They are from the official archives, Director CNMI said. Complete with your signature, Lord Vex. Your orders, your lies, all documented. Lord Vex's face twisted with rage. He turned to his guards. Kill them. Kill them all. Now. The guards moved forward, weapons drawn. But they hesitated. The whole galaxy was watching. Millions of beings were seeing this live. If they killed children on camera, there would be no hiding it. Tai-Sung stepped in front of Hannah and June. You will have to go through me first. And me, Hyun-woo said, standing beside him. And me, Ambassador Krass clicked. More people came forward. Dr. Yuna from the Evaluation Committee. Other human diplomats. Young inventors from the summit who had made friends with the children. A wall of people standing between the guards and the children. Lord Vex screamed in fury. He drew his own weapon and fired. Hannah moved faster than thought. Her hands came up and dragon energy burst from her. Not wild, like before. Controlled. Precise. The energy formed a perfect shield, just like the one she had invented. The weapon fire splashed harmlessly against it. I am Hannah, she said, her voice ringing clear through the hall. Daughter of the Draconist Empire. My grandmother ruled with wisdom and kindness. My people built wonders and shared knowledge. We did nothing wrong, and I will not hide anymore. June stepped beside her. His own power flared, bronze light mixing with her silver. Together, they created a shield that covered everyone on the stage, protected them, kept them safe. Lord Vex fired again and again. Other council members who had been part of the conspiracy joined him. But nothing could penetrate the children's shield. And every shot was captured on camera. Every crime was recorded. The entire galaxy saw council members trying to murder children. Minji appeared suddenly, running onto the stage. She had come from Station Meridian as fast as she could. The entire galactic net is exploding, she shouted to Tai-Sung. Every channel is showing this. Every planet. Billions of people are watching. They are protesting. They are demanding answers. More guards arrived, but these were loyal to other council members. Council members who were horrified by what they were seeing. Stand down, they ordered. Lord Vex, you are under arrest. Lord Vex tried to run. He tried to fight, but there was nowhere to go. Too many cameras. Too many witnesses. Too much truth. The whole descended into chaos for hours. Council members argued. Some tried to defend the old lies. Others demanded justice. The entire structure of galactic government was shaking, cracking under the weight of revealed corruption. Through it all, Hannah and June stood together, their shields never faltering. Tai-Sung stayed beside them, this human engineer who had chosen to save 2 children and change everything. As night fell, emergency council sessions were called. Lord Vex and 17 other members were arrested. Director CNMI presented all her evidence formally. Jinho's footage was submitted as official record. The truth could not be denied anymore. In a small room backstage, Tai-Sung finally sat down. His legs were shaking. It was over. They had survived. Hannah and June sat beside him, exhausted but alive. Hyun-woo brought them water. Ambassador Krass stood guard at the door. What happens now? June asked. Now, Ambassador Krass said gently, the galaxy has to face what it did, and decide what kind of galaxy it wants to be. Are there others? Hannah asked. Other Draconists who survived. I do not know, Krass admitted. But if there are, they will hear about this. They will know it is safe to come forward now. Tai-Sung put his arms around both children. They leaned against him, tired but safe. He had saved them from the debris field. They had saved him from a quiet life without meaning. Together, they had saved the truth itself. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. Rebuilding, healing, finding justice. But tonight, they could rest. They had done the impossible. One human and 2 children had stood against the most powerful government in the galaxy, and they had won. 1 year had passed since the revelation on Concordia. The galaxy had changed in ways nobody could have predicted. Lord Vex and his conspirators were still on trial. The legal proceedings would take years, maybe decades, but they were no longer free. They could not hurt anyone anymore. The evidence against them was too strong. The galaxy had seen their crimes with their own eyes. The Galactic Council had gone through massive reforms. Half the old members had resigned or been removed. New representatives had been elected, younger voices from species that had been ignored before. One of them was Daeun, a human diplomat from Earth who believed in justice and transparency. She had been elected as a new council chair, the first human to ever hold that position. Director Sionmai had received the highest honor the council could give for her decades of preserving the truth. She continued to run the historical archives, but now they were open to everyone. No more secrets. No more hidden histories. Jinho had won every major journalism award in the galaxy. His footage of that day on Concordia had been seen by billions. He continued to investigate corruption, but now he had help. The galaxy was tired of lies, and the Draconis were not extinct. After Hannah and June appeared before the galaxy, others had come forward. Slowly at first, then more quickly, for other heirs had been found alive, hidden in different corners of space by those who had protected them. Jiwoo and Eunji were twins, only a year older than June. They had been raised in secret by a colony of peaceful traders. 2 others, older teenagers, had survived on their own, hiding their nature for their entire lives. The council had formally apologized. They had granted the Draconis people a protected homeworld, a beautiful planet in a peaceful sector. They called it New Draconis. The surviving Draconis could build a home there, could live openly without fear. But Hannah had other ideas. She stood in the council chambers now, 15 years old instead of 8. She had grown taller, more confident. Her silver scales gleamed under the lights. She wore no genetic mask anymore. She was proud of what she was. Beside her stood June, 13 now, his bronze scales darker and richer, and the other 4 young Draconis heirs, and Hyunwoo, now 17, still her closest friend, and dozens of other young beings from across the galaxy. "We are grateful for New Draconis," Hannah said, her voice clear and strong. "But we do not want to just rebuild what was lost. We do not want to separate ourselves from the galaxy. We want something different, something new." She activated a holographic display. Plans and designs filled the air. Beautiful, complex, innovative. "We propose a new era initiative," Hannah continued. "A youth-led Galactic Innovation Council. Not just Draconis, not just humans. All species, all young minds working together to solve the galaxy's problems." Council Chair Daeun leaned forward with interest. "Explain." June stepped forward. The old way was species staying separate, each world keeping its knowledge to itself. That led to fear, to misunderstanding, to what happened to our people. The new way is collaboration, Hyunwoo added. Humans bring adaptability and creative problem-solving. Draconis bring energy manipulation and long-term thinking. Insectoid bring hive mind coordination. Crystalline beings bring quantum processing. Every species has gifts. Together, we can build things none of us could build alone. Eunji, one of the twin A's, spoke next. "We have already started. The 6 of us, with human and other species mentors, have designed a new type of energy station. It combines Draconis energy control with human engineering efficiency. Clean power, renewable, enough to supply an entire planet." The hologram shifted to show the design. It was elegant and practical at the same time. Council members murmured in amazement. "We want to build these stations across the galaxy," Jiwoo said. "But we do not want to just give them away. We want to teach. We want young beings from every world to come learn how to build them, how to maintain them, how to improve them. Knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. Hannah looked directly at Council Chair Daeun. My grandmother believed in helping others, in sharing what we had. That is what got my people killed, because others wanted to take instead of receive. But I still believe she was right. The answer is not to stop sharing. The answer is to make sure everyone shares, to make cooperation the foundation of galactic civilization. There was silence in the chamber. Then Ambassador Creuses, still serving on the council, clicked his mandibles in approval. I support this proposal. We failed the young once. We should not fail them again. More council members voiced their support. Some were hesitant, worried about the cost or the logistics, but the momentum was building. After everything that had happened, after all the lies and corruption had been exposed, the galaxy wanted something new, something hopeful. The vote passed. The New Era initiative was approved. Tai-sung watched from the gallery, pride swelling in his chest. These children he had saved from the debris field were now leading the galaxy toward a better future. Minji sat beside him, tears in her eyes. Daehyun was there too, now a full engineer, ready to help build whatever these brilliant young minds designed. The months that followed were busy. Tai-sung became the initiative's director. He coordinated between the young inventors and the practical realities of galactic politics. Minji handled administration, keeping track of hundreds of youth participants from dozens of worlds. Ambassador Creuses served as senior advisor, providing wisdom from his long life. The first energy station was built on a struggling colony world that had been suffering from power shortages. Hannah, June, and teams of young engineers from 10 different species worked together. Humans provided construction expertise. Draconis shaped the energy flows. Insectoids coordinated the complex logistics. Crystalline beings programmed the control systems. When the station activated, it worked perfectly. Clean energy flowed to every home on the planet. The colonists wept with gratitude. But more importantly, the young beings who built it learned from each other. They made friends across species lines. They saw that working together made them all stronger. More stations were built. More youth joined the initiative. Schools on hundreds of worlds started sending their brightest students, not to compete, but to collaborate. The initiative became a symbol of what the galaxy could be. 2 years after the initiative started, Hannah stood before the Galactic Assembly. She was 17 now, almost an adult by both human and Draconis standards. The Assembly was the largest gathering in galactic politics, representatives from every member world. When Tai-sung found me and my brother in that debris field, we were alone, Hannah said, the last survivors of a murdered people. We had every reason to hate the galaxy, to want revenge, to stay hidden and bitter. She looked up at the crowd, at thousands of faces from hundreds of species. But Tai-sung taught us something different. He taught us that one person's choice matters, that compassion is stronger than fear, that the right thing to do is not always the easy thing, but it is always worth doing. June stood beside her. Humans are not the strongest species. They are not the oldest or the wisest. They do not live the longest or have the most powerful technology, but they have something special. They see potential. They see possibility. They look at broken things and imagine how to fix them. They look at different beings and see friends instead of threats. The Draconis are returning, Hannah continued, but we are not returning to the past. We are building the future, and we are doing it the way humans do it, by working together, by sharing knowledge, by believing that cooperation is better than competition. Behind her, the hologram showed the New Era Initiative's achievements. 50 energy stations across the galaxy, hundreds of young inventors trained, thousands of collaborative projects, new technologies combining the best of multiple species, clean water systems, agricultural improvements, medical advances, all created by young minds working together. This is what my grandmother dreamed of, Hannah said softly. A galaxy where species help each other, where knowledge flows freely, where being different is valued, not feared. She never got to see it, but maybe, with your help, we can build it now. The applause started slowly, then grew. It spread through the assembly like a wave. Beings of every kind stood and cheered, not just for Hannah and June, for all of them, for what they had built together, for what they could become. In the gallery, Tai-sung stood with tears running down his face. He was just a salvage engineer. He had just been doing his job, following a distress beacon in a debris field. He could have ignored it. He could have reported the children to the council. He could have made 100 different choices. But he had chosen to save them. And that choice had changed everything. Hyun-woo stood beside him, grown into a confident young man. "You did good," he said to Tae-sung. "They did good," Tae-sung corrected. "I just gave them a chance." "That is all anyone needs sometimes," Hyun-woo said. "Just a chance." The assembly session ended with a declaration. The New Era Initiative would become a permanent institution, funded by all member worlds. It would be independent of the council, run by the youth themselves with adult mentors. It would be a place where the next generation could learn, create, and dream without the prejudices and fears of the past. That evening, there was a celebration. Beings from across the galaxy gathered to honor what had been built. Music played, food was shared, and for a few hours, all the old divisions seemed to disappear. Hannah and June found Tae-sung in the crowd. They were taller than him now, but they were still his children. They always would be. "Thank you," Hannah said simply. "For what?" Tae-sung asked. "For choosing us," June said. "For seeing us as children who needed help instead of problems to solve." Tae-sung pulled them both into a hug. "I did not save you," he said. "You saved yourselves. You saved all of us. You showed the galaxy what it could be." "We showed them what humanity could be," Hannah corrected. "You taught us that. One person's compassion, one person's courage. That is all it takes to change everything." The celebration continued late into the night. Young beings from dozens of species talked and laughed together. They made plans for new projects. They dreamed of what they would build next. And somewhere in the darkness of space, an old debris field still drifted. Empty now, but maybe someone would remember it someday. Remember that this was where it all started. Where a human engineer found two children and chose kindness over convenience. Where one simple choice became the foundation of a better galaxy. The future belonged to the young, to the dreamers, to those brave enough to cooperate instead of compete, to humans who saw bridges instead of walls, to draconists who chose sharing over hiding, to all of them working together, building something new. The new era had begun.